Hi everybody, it's Sandy and it's time for the full moon rose reading, and this time the calling was to get ahead of the timing so that we can get a better sense of the energies as we're building to this particular full moon. So hi Serena, hi. Yeah, this has been a really potent week for so many people. There is a real sense of the energy building for this full moon, and it's a full moon at 21 degrees of Pisces. And for me, it's especially potent because it's actually right on top of my natal moon. So this is probably one of the most intense passages of time that I've experienced. And of course, those of you that have been following the storyline on Facebook and in my newsletter will also hello Elias, hello Laura, will know that this is the closing week of the Kickstarter campaign that I've had running, the crowdfunder, to raise the funds to reprint the Rose Oracle. I am completely sold out of the first edition, and there is I've been amazed. I mean, at the moment it stands that there are 112 backers. We've still got a little bit more to go to raise the rest of the money that's needed to allow this reprint to take place. And you know, it's been so complex with Brexit and with the fluctuations with the pound, and I have these printed abroad, so it's not that I've got any control over what's going on. So it's been a bit sort of sitting on the edge of your seat for the last couple of weeks, just seeing where this is going to go. And of course, the Rose Oracle deck is at the very heart of my work with the roses. However, we are getting closer, and I have until midday, that's 12 noon on Saturday, to complete the funding, because Kickstarter is an all or nothing experience, and I chose this particular point of closure because this moon is directly on top of my own personal moon. So you can see, oh, thank you, Caroline. Thank you. You can see how the timing of the things that we organise, the timing of our energy out in the world has such an important part to play in how we work with our own personal astrology. Hi, Lisa. So yes, it felt really significant that the closing point for this crowdfunding campaign was actually when it would be just after that full moon on top of my personal moon. So full moons, you know, are about this place of culmination and closure. So I've been running and working with this energy. Hi Maya. I've been working with this energy as it's been building from this past new moon in particular, but I ran it from full moon to full moon. So this new moon that was nearly 2 weeks ago has been building the energy as the moon has waxed. So I've watched the energy shift and change, and it's one of the things that I'm going to be sharing a lot more of as we move forward with the work. I'm going to be showing you how I work with energy grids. So part of my work for in this last week in particular has been about working with the grids and for abundance and for manifestation, and being able to add in the crystals in with the roses, because the roses love working with crystals. The roses, as you know, those of you that have journeyed alongside me and have studied some of the rose work, are pentagram. And there is not anything in the crystal kingdom that is a pentagram. We have trigonal, we have cubic, we have hexagonal, octagonal, amorphic. So there is this beautiful weave that goes on when the roses engage with the crystals. And I think that this too speaks of this shift of our journey of ascension, which is actually a coming deeper and deeper into the body. But as we lighten, as we shift our stories and our scripts, and we can bring more light into this physical vehicle, what happens is that we are moving more and more from a carbon-based body into a crystalline-based body. So you can start to see how the roses in this next evolutionary cycle weave so beautifully with that, even that crystalline content within our own physical fields. So what have we got? We've, in the UK, the full moon is on Saturday morning. In the US, it's at various times on Friday, but for us here in the UK, it's at 5:32 in the morning, and is at 21 degrees Pisces. So the moon is in Pisces and the sun is in Virgo. Now, what is interesting for this particular full moon is that the moon at 21 degrees of Pisces is very closely conjunct to Neptune at 17 degrees of Pisces. And in Virgo, the sun at 21 degrees is very close to Mars at 17 degrees of Virgo. So you can start to see what this dance is around, you know, our visionary, creative aspects, which is so much the sort of Piscean, lunar, Neptunian energy, where we're bringing in these higher keys and codes of light. And the Virgo Sun Mars says, anchor it, make it real, make it practical, make it long term, make it something that has got a foundation to it. And that also is echoed within the Capricorn stellium of planets that are, you know, cooking for us very nicely as we move towards the conjunction of Pluto and Saturn in January. And when I've done these readings before, I've said, you know, what I'm feeling even more is that every one of these new and full moons is like another birthing process. It's like a contraction and an expansion and a contraction and expansion. And certainly I've been really feeling that this week. And yeah, it's not been without its challenges, shall we say. And then this morning, I end up with a delivery of, it's about 14 meters of printed rose silk, which is going to be made into the new batch of rose mats, which will be reactivated on my website later on this evening because they've been out of stock. So I've got back orders to make with these beauties, and some of them will also be in new stock. So if you're fancying an upshift in your frequency of the rose mats, they will be back in stock from later on this evening, and you can have one of the brand new rose mats that have got super high frequency on them. And I'm really looking forward to putting some really special energy in them as I'm making them. So, should we see what the roses have got to offer us for this particular reading? So we're asking for the wisdom of the roses as we move through this full moon. What do the roses have to offer us as guidance, as inspiration, and as pure love codes? As I've been starting to deepen into my process of writing this next book, I've really come to understand that the roses are really light technologies. They're divine feminine light technologies, and they hold the codes of love and the activation for the heart that take us to the next level. So the first rose that's come forward is Rose Ma 7. Now Rose Ma 7 says, I am receptive. I open to receive. And this is such a powerful place particularly for the feminine, being this very receptive vessel that gathers and offers this nourishment and this nurturing to a waiting world. And you can also see that this rose is actually quite yoni shaped. She has a real luscious energy to her. And she says, open to that deeper aspect of yourself, open to receive in all ways. When we look at this place from, the sacral energy and the sexual energy, she's just ripe to blossom. And this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous, very fertile energy to be working with over this full moon. So if you resonate, if this rose really resonates for you, look at the ways in which you can open to receive. I mean, one of the biggest learnings I've had through this Kickstarter campaign is that when I've looked, actually nearly 75% of the backers, of these 112 backers, are people that I've never heard of before. They're not names that are familiar to me, and they are people that have just perhaps come across the Kickstarter campaign, or if they've been recommended by another friend. And it's just beautiful, the fact that they've been drawn. It's just wonderful. So what's the second energy that's coming forward for us to work with in this full moon energy? We have Rose Bagua 5. Now this rose sits in the center of the Bagua, this center place of always coming back into the core of your very being, coming back into rest within before taking another action. She says, just come back to your core. Don't go from action to action, but come back in and be able to regroup, gather yourself back within to that still point, and then take considered action in all that you do. She's a very beautiful rose, actually, and often is overlooked in the more sort of glamorous, out there sort of roses that are part of the deck. This one holds a stillness and a real calling to anchor within. So perhaps if this rose resonates for you, that this is time for you to develop a new meditation or mindfulness practice, go into a deeper place if you work with yoga, anywhere in which you can remind yourself to keep coming back home, back into self, before moving back out into the world again. So let's see what the third rose might be that wants to share her wisdom with us today. Okay, let's see what wants to come out. So we have Rose Angel 1. Rose Angel 1 sits on the crown, and she is all about coming into surrender. That's one of her keynotes, but also she is saying, recognize the power of tribe, recognizing the power of co-creation. This rose came with a family. She came with a connection into those of like mind. You know, we come in with our birth family, but we also come in with the challenges that birth family brings us, the challenges and the gifts. This rose says that we need to co-create, that whether we're working in soul family or whether we're working with our birth family, there has to be an opening. You'll see her golden heart is open. She's open to connect. She's open to share her beautiful golden heart. And in that sharing, she allows for the wisdom to be shared, and for then what wants to blossom next to come forward. So you can see that actually we've got 3 really beautiful roses that are offering us keynotes and guidance for this particular full moon. I am receptive. I open to receive all of the abundance of the universe. I open to connect. And in that receiving is the giving. You know, when years and years ago, I had a vision. I had a vision when I was driving up to London one day, and I wasn't driving, and I have shared this story before. And I was going up through, there's a cutting just alongside Winchester called St Catherine's, and it's a cutting through St Catherine's Hill. And as I wasn't driving, I will add, what I saw in front of me was a radiant light. And I saw graded light beings from that radiant light. And then I was taken in to connect with one of those radiant light beings. And I saw in that nanosecond that the only thing that we have to do is turn towards the light and feed, and turn 180 degrees and feed out. And that there was a continuum then of the grading light travelling out on the beam. And we have to remember to turn towards the light in whatever that way that is for us, and nurture and receive the divine inspiration or the nourishment or light. And we have to remember to turn 180 degrees and give that out, share that light in the world, and that allows for that light to travel down the line. I was also shown in that nanosecond that we can feed in the octave of vibration above us, and we feed out in the octave of vibration below us, so that this is the receivable wave, this is the receivable window, if you like, of the vibrational codes. So this is her message. Oh, thank you, Maya. Thank you. Yeah, so this is her message. Open to receive and turn 180 degrees and share those blessings out with others. Rose Bagua 5. Always remember to come back into center. Come back into the core of your very being. Those of you that have done and worked with the Bagua with me will know that this rose sits in the center, and the Bagua is a feng shui term for the 9 different areas of life. This rose sits in the center, and when I'm working with her and working with the rose codes within the Rose Bagua, it is always, what is your heartfelt expression in the other 8 areas, but always coming from this heart center, always coming from this place of love and presence within self. So remembering to come home, and from that place we journey out. And you can see that from our physical homes and this inner temple that we live in. And our third rose, Rose Angel 1, and she sits on the crown. She is the angel of the transformation from separation to surrender. And it's when we open to surrender and know that we don't have all the answers, and that we are part of an evolutionary process that is occurring at this point. And if we surrender to the place of playing our part in it, then what effortlessly arises is our true tribe, our true connections that can allow us to shine, and we them, that it is a mutual process. Sorry, my battery's just going on the phone. Not good timing at all. So there we go. 3 beautiful cards. Remember, you can put a glass of water on them through epitaxy to transfer the frequency codings into the water and drink it like you would do a flower remedy. You can tuck them down your top, you can put them by your computer, and if there's one specific one of these codes that works with you, you know, use it, tuck it under your pillow, pop it by your bed, and consciously connect with her as we move into this full moon. This is a powerful, powerful moon, super creative, super inspirational if we open to this Moon-Neptune combo and then anchor it with the Sun and Mars. And as I say, if you feel drawn, please go to the Kickstarter campaign. It closes at 12 noon on Saturday, and I would be so grateful for any extra support that is going to ease me over the line here, so that we effortlessly and easily produce the 2nd edition of the Rose Oracle with all 52 cards. The extra 7 cards are included in the new Oracle. And you may be drawn to add a rose mat. Some of these will be going out with the new Oracle set, because some people have ordered them with their Oracle. But I'm going to be super busy. There's about 63 rose mats in the silks that have come today. Anyway, wishing you well, and sending you much love and rosy blessings for an inspirational and creative time that you can really anchor to make a template going forward. Anyway, much love and rosy blessings. Bye for now.